Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
We're born in this material world of sin, and we have been doing that for a very long time. It's bad enough being born into sin that we don't remember the last life, all of the nonsense that we did, because a sinful death means a painful one. And a painful death means you're not going to remember it. It's too traumatic. It's too traumatic. So our mind not only shuts it out, our entire subtle body rejects the idea of our last life, but some vestiges might cling. We shake those off from the trauma of childbirth because it's not very pleasant being drowned for 9 months, fed through a tube, don't get to taste anything. Jostled around, it's hot and dark, you're being prodded in so many different places. And you get squeezed out of this miserable chute, and you're uncomfortable and you just can't do a thing about it for years. So we forget and we have to relearn the world. But the people that are teaching us were born into sin. So this is all we know. We only know our own gratification. So the Catholics are right that they're, born guilty. Catholic guilt is such a gift for Catholics because we should really all be guilty. We've been gallivanting around this creation that we forced Krishna to make for us so that we could be away from him and try to act like we are him. How does your mother and father feel when you try to replace them? How do you feel when your spouse tries to replace you? And who the hell do we think we are to try to replace the supreme personality of God? It's a bizarre concept for humans, for jivas, what we really are, to be in a state of constant rejection. It's bizarre, disgusting. And it's the reason why we suffer, damn it. We're doing it to ourselves. Our happiness comes from Krishna, and everything else is turning our back to Krishna. There's no question why there's depression. Even for devotees, there's depression. We might think that we have the best process. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. But you're either completely ignorant, chanting so offensively that you think life as it is something to be happy about, or you're chanting Hare Krishna and wondering why you're not being happy. Because hardly a one of us is capable of chanting Nama Bas. We're making so many offenses to the name. So if you reject your spouse and then you call them on the phone, and the entire time you call them on the phone, and you call them because you want to get back with them, you don't want them to be gone, you want them back in your life. But when you call them and say, I want you to come back, and they say, I want you to listen to me, and you say, yeah, I'll listen to you. And when they start talking, you turn on the television. When they start talking, you put the phone down. You start looking at Facebook. You go and do some other thing. You start eating. You start planning your meal. You do everything you can to not listen while still being on the phone. So this is what our relationship is with Krishna, that we've left and rejected him. And he's saying, please come back. I want you to come back. I'm waiting for you. Please come. And we're saying, yeah, no, I'm not having fun here. I don't like this shitty hotel that I got in order to be away from you. I want to come back. And Krishna says, okay, here's what you have to do. Here's how you get home. And as soon as he starts to tell us what we need to do, we stop listening. It's our own fault. It's our own fault why we're here. When we pick up the phone to Krishna, don't pick up the TV remote too. Don't put down the phone to Krishna in the middle of the phone call. You called. He's been waiting for you. You finally call him, and then you ignore him. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna Rama. And that's all it is. You know, you probably don't even want to be listening to me right now because it's so boring. And this is how we're chanting. This is how we're talking to Krishna. You can't convince me otherwise because I do it sometimes. And you can't convince me otherwise because I hear everybody else doing it sometimes too. That's not to say that all I ever hear is bad, and it's not to say that all I ever chant is bad. I have my moments, and I'm sure you do too. But we gotta admit that our moments are just moments. That any lucidity we actually have in japa is fleeting. And it's because we're so conditioned to not. We're so conditioned to do everything else. So there's some monasticism required here. We have to get a little bit serious if we want the be happy. But if we don't do the chant, how can we do the be happy? It's not, one or the other. And, if we half ass it, we get half the result. That's okay. Until it's not. And I want there to be this understanding, right? That there's many different reasons that people decide they need to live in the temple. There's many reasons people decide that they can't wear white anymore because it's inappropriate, that they have to uh, make themselves a little bit more chaste. It's for a reason. It's not just for show. And it's not for you to put the spotlight, which is what happens anyway. We have to understand that there are different flavors of devotees. So the Catholic Church, again, something they get right is they have these religious orders based on charism. The word charism is related to charisma. So you find one of these people charismatic, you understand what they're saying, and you like what they're doing. Then you try to adapt your life to theirs. You try to become like somebody who's more elevated than you because it's a way that's suitable to your psychophysical nature, not just to the gross body you happen to be in now, but the entire psychophysical nature that you've built up. And once you can address that, you can step out of that suit of the subtle body. And that's when we begin to open our eyes to our actual nature. It's a long way off for most of us, though. But we have to understand where we're going. If we just get in the car and drive, we're not going to actually get anywhere. But we know a destination. We understand the road to the destination, even if we haven't gotten in the car yet. We can already consider that we've made advancement. because we know somebody blind more than somebody going blindly in the wrong direction. We have to understand the big picture, but we have to live our lives in the small picture. That today I'm going to wake up and I'm going to choose to chant as nicely as possible for as long as my ridiculous rascal mind can tolerate it. And then we're going to push it a little bit farther because the mind doesn't really matter. We're not going to completely disrupt things. We don't want to disturb our mind too much. We have to coax it because living with a disturbed mind is very difficult, practically impossible. So we have to not cause disturbance amongst ourselves, and we have to not cause disturbance amongst society. We have to question the norms. We have to be the voice of reason, but we don't go out of our way because we stir things up enough when we say, "Thou shalt not kill" means animals too. And all of these other things, which are quite abrasive to the sense gratification of the Western mind. Some coaxing is required. It can't all be difficult. There has to be some gentle touch in there somewhere. If we're not extending that courtesy to ourselves, we're hypocrites because Krishna extends that courtesy to us. He didn't have to let us come here. He didn't have to make this world for us. But instead, he chooses to give us this world. He chooses to allow his energy to manifest this world. He chooses to allow his energy to manifest to control this world. All according to Krishna's desire. So if we act in a way which is pleasing to Krishna and we're reciprocal with Krishna, we're going to find our way back home to Krishna a lot faster than if we're causing unnecessary disturbance. Nobody wants to bring a stark raving lunatic home. And one of the jobs of Krishna's energy, assuming the form of the superintendent of the material world, is to make sure that we don't go marching into Krishna's bedroom with muddy boots on. You don't walk into your own house covered in filth. You know, the house that Krishna has allowed you to think is yours. So why should you go into Krishna's house causing a scene? No, we have to know how to act. But if you want to teach manners, we can see in our modern society that the prison industrial complex only supports itself. Penance and penitential living are not actual means for reform. It curtails the bad behavior immediately, but what's actually required for reform, what's required for the cleaning of the mirror of the heart to reveal the true nature of the soul, is grace and mercy. Without divine grace, we are and have nothing. Therefore, it's stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Mukam karoti vachalam pangu langayate girim yadkripatamaham vande Shri Gurundinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishvaram. Categorically, we can break these lines down to understand. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Madhava, is eternally full of knowledge and bliss, resplendent with transcendental pleasure. That Sri Chaitanya Deva is the supreme controller of this world and the spiritual world. And that by the divine grace of free Guru, a foolish man can speak and a lame man can cross mountains. It's divine grace. And we have to choose willingly, actively, to subject ourselves to that. Your guru wants you to chant better, and your guru is giving you all the spiritual energy necessary to make it happen. But if you don't accept it, you don't accept it. And the guru is so selfish that they're not only extending all that is necessary for perfection forward for you to take by the mercy of Nityananda. Their hands are open. And it doesn't just mean that they're giving freely, it means that they're freely accepting all of the sin that we choose to continue to commit. It's not stressed enough in this current society, ISKCON society, that at the time of first initiation, the guru takes all the sins of the disciples and accepts them as their own. And the disciple is karmically free. They're completely neutral. And if they sin again, it goes to the guru. And if they build up some piety, it stays with them. The guru doesn't take that because guru could say, okay, you've accrued bad karma. I have accepted it. Now you've made good karma. You must give that to me as well. No. Guru is selfless because service to Krishna is always selfless. We fall backwards into the arms of Krishna to serve him because we know as reciprocation for our service, he's going to care for us. It's not required because it's selfless service. Krishna doesn't have to reciprocate. Krishna wants to reciprocate with us. Let that marinate. Krishna wants to reciprocate. Krishna wants you to fall backwards so that he can catch you and he can lift you off of your feet and make things even better than when you're standing on your own. That's what he's asking for. He's not asking for nose on the grindstone and shoulder in the plow for him so he can sit back and be happy. Krishna is the hero. He doesn't want to be the hero. He is the hero. And because he is the hero, everything is supported in such a way that we're placed into distress and he rescues us. That's eternal. It's even going on here when we choose to let it happen. The difference is in the spiritual world, there's no choice. He always catches us. Here, as we're falling, we can say, Krishna, do not catch me. And because he wants to see us happier more than he wants to see himself happy, he's willing to let us fall and land and scrape our knee and get a boo-boo and cry. He'll let it happen because that's what we want. But when we scrape our knee, his heart shatters. Krishna doesn't want us to suffer. We want to suffer. We want it. We're asking for it. We're begging for it. So much so that he's finally said, okay, I surrender to you. You can have your world. You can try to be me. It's not going to work, but you can try. That's the Lord's kindness to us. But when we're sick of it, because it sucks here, it sucks being where we don't belong. We have to pick up the pieces, but we've been here so long that we're so confused that we don't know which way is up. We don't know right from wrong. And neither the people that are supposed to teach us know what is right from wrong. They don't know what is and is not to be done. So the cycle continues over and over again. We just keep failing. Terrible, it's true, but it's changeable. We have some purview for improvement. And it starts with consciousness in daily living. The cowherd boys are always thinking Krishna, 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 Krishna. They're not thinking cows. They're not thinking mother, father. They're thinking of Krishna alone. And us, every background noise we hear in the video is distracting and we're not sure what was said. That's the way our brains work. So it's a gentle reconditioning. If you beat a dog, it's going to bite you. And if you beat your mind, it's going to have you very miserable. The mind is a tool just like the body is a tool to get us out of here. But if we abuse the tool, it's going to abuse us. So, very simply, we need to take care of our body. By taking care of our body, we can start to take care of our mind. And when our mind is in a condition that it can be led properly and controlled properly, then the soul is free to finally separate and go home. But we have to follow the proper science, the proper methodology. There is a rhyme and a reason for everything. When Krishna says, surrender everything, abandon everything, abandon all varieties of religion and surrender to me. Always think of me, engage your mind in me. That doesn't mean haphazardness. It means very precisely, very carefully, always thinking about Krishna. Will my words please Krishna? Will my actions please Krishna? Is this body an instrument for Krishna? Certainly not for most of us. A very difficult process because we can't consider ourselves, and we're taught first consider yourself. And then we're taught selfless service by Prabhupada. And then even Prabhupada says, but first you have to put your health. Health is most important. After health, then you can worry about service. And after sadhana, you worry about service. But first is health. It doesn't mean we worship the body. It means we use the body for worship. But if we're preparing to do arati of the Lord in the temple, and we find that our chamara is knotted and dirty, and the rag that we normally use for a cloth offering is now somebody's snot rag. And the water that we pour to offer in the conch reeks of sulfur. And we might pluck some flowers that wither and have no odor, let alone fragrance. And the bell that we ring has a very shrill tone. Are we going to feel good about offering the arati? Or do we want pure water and a sweetly ringing bell and a nicely folded kerchief and flowers that are very opulently fragrant, pleasing to the nose? We want the nice things for Krishna. We want the chamara, where the hairs twirl ever so delicately through the air, so it looks very nice for the Lord. We want the nice things, just like we want the nice things for ourselves. But the difference is, we give those nice things to Krishna without considering that he'll give them back. But we can also understand he's gonna give them back, because that's just the kind of guy Krishna is. I'm not that kind of guy, but Krishna's that kind of guy. He's oh gosh, he's Krishna, What can you say about him? We have to, understand that we're in a convoluted mess here. And once we get that understanding, the door opens for us to walk out of it. It's just that simple. So don't be discouraged when it's more complicated, because that's just accidental. Don't be mad either, We tend to accidentally complicate things for ourselves and get mad at ourselves. That's okay. We can expect better from ourselves, but when we do the same to others, we're not extending a proper courtesy. We have to be much nicer to ourselves than we are, but we have to be much nicer to others than we are to ourselves. And in that way, we can move forward. So I pray that you found something useful here. I pray that you go forward understanding what it is to live a spiritual life, and that you go in peace and serve the Lord selflessly. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.